Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 2 is out, and so much huge stuff happens. Let's get right into it. We begin beyond the wall with Bran and Bloodraven, known in the books as a three-eyed crow and in the show as a three-eyed raven. Remember, Bloodraven is a sort of a mystical, mysterious tree wizard dude connected to the old gods and the children of the forest. He trains Bran to use the powers of a greenseer, which involves walking into animals and having visions of the present and past. This scene is one of those visions. It's of Winterfell years ago, with a young Ned Stark, Benjen Stark, Lyanna Stark, Roderick Castle, Old Nan, and Hodor, or should we say Willis, who talks. Hodor talks, which raises the question of what happened? Book readers have been theorizing for years that Hodor might have had his mind broken by seeing something cold and terrible in the Winterfell crypts, or maybe that during one of Bran's visions, he might mess with young Hodor's mind by trying to talk to him or walk into him from the present. Either way, it's really cool that they're bringing this up in the show. Maybe we'll finally find out why Hodor Hodors. It's also awesome to see the young Stark siblings, especially Lyanna. She's the one who gets caught up with Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, which leads to Robert's rebellion, the death of Lyanna, and the theory's claim, the birth of Jon Snow, which will probably finally be revealed next episode. Check out the R+L=J video if you want to know more. So yeah, heaps happening up here, but Mira's pretty down. To be fair, her brother died, she's stuck in a cave in a frozen wasteland, and all she's got for company is Hodor, a creepy elf child, and a couple of fucking tree wizards getting high on green dreams. It is interesting that this child of the forest says that Bran
isn't going to stay here forever.
A lot of folks thought he would, that he'd slowly become one with the tree, like Bloodraven, because really, where's he gonna go? He still can't walk, outside of the matrix of his visions. Is Hodor gonna carry him all the way south in winter to the Wall? Is that where Bran will fight the War for the Dawn against the White Walkers, whatever that means exactly? And can Bloodraven really be trusted? The plot's progressing quickly, so we'll probably find out soon. At the Wall, Alyssa and his men confront Davos and the loyal Black brothers, but Wun bursts in with the Wildlings and Tormund and Ed, who take Castle Black from the Watch. Props to this guy for thinking he could kill a 14-foot giant with a crossbow bolt. Better luck next time. But yeah, like Alyssa says, it really is an historic thing to see Wildlings in control at Castle Black. In the thousands of years of the Watch, this has, as far as we know, never happened before. Then down in King's Landing, some common bloke is talking smack about Cersei, so Robert Strong turns up and splatters his brain on the wall. The Mountain has always been scary because he's so huge and violent, but now that he's an unspeaking, unfeeling, undead monster, the Mountain is more terrifying than ever. But anyway, King Tommen bars Cersei from going to Myrcella's funeral. At the Sept, we learn Tommen did this to try to protect her. He feels guilty, feels like he failed her, so later he goes and asks for forgiveness, and asks for Cersei to teach him how to be strong, which can't possibly go well. You can almost see some Joffrey in Tommen's eyes sometimes. Back at the Sept, Jaime threatens the High Sparrow, and the Sparrow threatens right back, saying, "Together we can overthrow an empire." Which sounds like a very political goal for these religious fanatics to have, right? Do they really just want to punish sinners for their sins, or do they want to establish a whole new order in the capital? There are conspiracy theories about the High Sparrow, trying to explain who he is and what he wants, but honestly none of it's all that convincing. Hopefully we'll find out more about the Sparrows in the episodes to come. Over in Meereen, Tyrion, Varys, Missandei, and Grey Worm have a strategic chat. Varys says that the Slavers have taken back Yunkai and Astapor, which could lead to a siege of Meereen, like in the books. Then Tyrion visits the dragons down in the basement, and he doesn't get roasted like one character does in the books. In fact, Tyrion and the dragons seem to get along. Tyrion has this touching moment talking about his childhood dreams of dragons, like a kid talking about dinosaurs, and the dragons seem to listen and understand. Which reminds us how little we know about the dragons. How intelligent are they? How loyal are they? And just how destructive can they be? Now that Tyrion has unchained them, we'll probably soon see. Also, this connection Tyrion seems to have with the dragons might support the theory that Tyrion is not the son of Tywin Lannister, but of the Mad King Aerys Targaryen. This is a controversial theory, but it could almost make sense. Having Targaryen blood may allow Tyrion to one day ride a dragon like Daenerys does, and Tyrion does have experience designing unconventional saddles, so who knows? Then we're in Braavos with Arya, and the waif beats her up again, asking her what her name is, because the Faceless Men want Arya to let go of her identity and become no one. The waif leaves and Jaqen H'ghar appears, or more likely, the waif wearing Jaqen's face. Remember last season, someone who seemed to be Jaqen drank poison and died. Then the waif wore Jaqen's face, showing that any faceless man can be Jaqen because the faceless men are no one and have no personal identity. But anyway, Arya's told that her time as a beggar is done, and she has to take on a new identity. Probably Mercy, the girl who works in a theatre troupe. At Winterfell, Walder gives birth to a son. Since Ramsay is a bastard, this baby boy is ahead of Ramsay in the line of succession. So Ramsay stabs his father and murders his stepmother and his newborn baby half-brother with dogs, as though Ramsay could possibly be hated any more than he already is. It is a little surprising that Roose goes down so easily, because in the books at least, Roose is pretty good at manipulating and controlling his monstrous bastard, but here he seems to get totally caught off guard. Regardless, Ramsay's in charge at Winterfell now. We see he has the support of the Karstarks, and also mentions the Manderleys and the Umbers. The Umbers are based at Last Hearth, and that's where Osha takes Rickon all those seasons ago.
You and Osha and Shaggy Dog head for the Last Hearth.
So maybe the Umbers will give the Boltons Rickon as a hostage. We also hear Ramsay's plan to attack Castle Black to catch Sansa and kill Jon. He thinks it's going to be easy, but what he doesn't know is that wildlings and a giant now guard Castle Black. Somewhere near Winterfell, Sansa, Theon, Brienne and Pod chill in the snow. Brienne tells Sansa about when she saw Arya, which is the first Sansa's heard of her sister since, season 1. Brienne doesn't mention that Arya was with the Hound, which would be interesting for Sansa, since she's tangled with Sandor before. Sansa says she should have gone with Brienne when she had the chance last season, which she really, really should have, and then Sansa talks with Theon about the guilt he feels for his crimes. He's still very much a broken man here. While Brienne takes Sansa to the Wall, Theon decides to head home, to the Iron Islands. At the Iron Islands, we finally see Yara's father, Balon Greyjoy, the winner of the War of the Five Kings, basically because everyone else forgot about him. Like Yara says, Balon should really quit while he's ahead, but the fool seems set on invading the north again. Then Balon bumps into his long-lost brother, Euron Greyjoy, the Crow's Eye, a notorious pirate, schemer, and madman who declares he wants to rule and throws Balon off a bridge to his death below. In the books, this may have gone differently. It's hinted that Euron may have hired a faceless man, like Jaqen or the Waif, to kill Balon, which is connected to all sorts of other crazy theories about dragon eggs and Valyria. We'll talk about this in an upcoming video. But anyway, King Balon is finally dead, which means the Iron Islands needs a new king. Yara is Balon's chosen heir, which could make her the first ever female ruler of the Ironborn. But Yara's other uncle, Aeron, tells her they're going to hold a kingsmoot, a sort of an election to choose the next king. Euron will be a candidate, he's the crazy, big-talking outsider, while Yara is a relatively sensible candidate who hopes to be the first ever woman in power, and in the books there are also other candidates, including one with a truly inspiring but possibly unrealistic utopic vision. Anyway, back at the Wall, Melisandre is still a wreck. She's lost her faith and is deeply depressed. She's wearing furs to keep herself warm, which is a big deal because previously the cold never bothered her. Her faith and her inner fire kept her warm.
The Lord's fire lit within me, Jon Snow.
The cold never bothered me anyway.
So she's really in a bad place, but Davos comes in and gives her a pep talk, and Mel agrees to try to resurrect Jon, who looks sexier as a corpse than most men do living. Readers have been waiting for this moment for almost 5 years, and they've often imagined the resurrection as something big and dramatic and magical, involving blood sacrifice or a burning pyre or weirwoods or white walkers, so it's surprising that all it took in the end was a sponge bath and a haircut. It'll almost certainly be very different in the books, but this way kinda makes sense too. It's very similar to how Thoros of Myr first resurrects Beric Dondarrion. Thoros didn't have much faith, but he says some prayers anyway, and Beric rises from the dead. But the thing about Beric is that when he's resurrected, he loses parts of himself, bits of his identity and memories. George Martin, the author of the book, says that when his characters are resurrected, they're worse for wear. In some ways, not even the same characters anymore. They've changed or transformed, and they've lost something. It's also implied that this gets worse the longer the body's left dead before resurrection. So at least in the books, we should expect Jon to be a changed man. But the show might want to keep things simple and make Jon the same Snow we know and love. Either way, Jon Snow is back. This could be a fulfillment of the prophecy of Azor Ahai. He could be the champion of the Lord of Light, prophesied to fight against the Walkers and the Whites. He's freed from his watch vows now, so if R+L=J is true, he could be crowned as the rightful king. And at the very least, we can expect Jon to ride south against the Boltons, perhaps to embrace his identity, not just as a Watchman or a Snow, but as a Stark. So, we're just 2 episodes into Season 6, and so much huge stuff has already happened. Bran's getting visions of the past, wildlings have taken the wall, Jaime and Sparrows are clashing, and Robert Strong is on the loose, the dragons are free in Meereen, Arya is taking on a new role in Braavos, Ramsay takes control at Winterfell, Brienne and Sansa head north while Theon heads home to the Iron Islands, where Euron arrives and the stage is set for an election, and at Castle Black, Jon is back, and the setup is in place for his true parentage to be revealed. We're really starting to pass the books now, which means anything could happen. If you want to know about Jon's true parentage, check out the R+L=J video. If you want to know about the Tyrion Targaryen theory, check that video out. And if you want to hear the word Hodor for 2.5 minutes, watch the Hodor video. Special thanks to the channel Rawrest for supporting this video. Rawrest covers Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire, as well as comics, sci-fi, and other pop culture. So click the link in the description if you'd like to check her out. Many thanks also to all patrons supporting the channel, including Eli Kiani, Stacey McGurkuth, Gary Davis, Jeffrey James, Edmund Dantes, Jake Toner, Jessica Ray McCorta, Angel Figueroa, Niall Munnelly, Michael Cantu, Mike Bruno, Sean Powell, Jessica O'Keefe, Randolph, and Randall Huggins. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, see you next week.